impression review on the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. I've seen this and heard about this a lot over the last few weeks from a few YouTubers and then also from Chelsea. She was going on and on about this product. So I thought I would give it a try. I was in the drugstore yesterday and I thought I would pick it up and give it a try. I have not worn this yet before, so this will be my first time applying it. I'm actually going to apply it with a beauty blender on one side and a brush on the other side because I feel like certain foundations look better with a beauty blender application and certain foundations look better with a brush. So I thought I would do both and see which one I like better. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the shade that I picked up is 104 Golden Beige Matte Finish Air Light Oil-Free Foundation, 24-hour foundation. So I like the way all of that sounds. I love a matte foundation. I love something that's lightweight, and I love something that wears for 24 hours. Not that I need it to wear 24 hours, but it's great that it is a long-wearing foundation. So let's give this a try. I hope this is my color. You know, at the drugstore you can't really they don't really have testers for you to try, so I just kind of grabbed what I thought would be my shade. I had my daughter with me, so I was kind of in a rush, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I'm a little more tan right now, so this is a little bit darker than I would normally go for, but I just squeezed about that much on my hand, and I'm going to start with the Beauty Blender application. If I can find my Beauty Blender, there it is. I'm going to start with a Beauty Blender application and see what I think of that. So I do have a damp Beauty Blender here, and I'm just going to actually pick it up from my hand versus kind of apply it with my finger. And I'm going to start in the center of my face because I always like to start applying my foundation in the center of the face because that's typically where you have the most discoloration, blemishes, or redness. And the first place that you put your brush or your sponge or your finger or whatever you're using to apply your foundation is where you're going to get the most product, obviously, because you pick it up and that's where you go. So that's where it's going to deposit the most product. So I want the most product to, of course, be where I have the most blemishes, right? So I do like this. It is, I wouldn't say it's sheer, but I wouldn't say that it's full coverage with just a first application of it. I would say that it is doing a really good job of evening my skin tone out and covering, you know, my blemishes. My blemishes really are like small little sunspots that I have, freckles from sun damage. I do have a few little breakouts up here, but I don't really have, thankfully, I don't really have a lot of really, you know, dark or heavy blemishes right now. So I'm not sure how this would work with those, but it tends to be, it looks like it's a pretty decent coverage, but still very natural looking. So it's not like a full coverage heavy finish foundation, but it's definitely more coverage than like a tinted moisturizer or a sheer foundation, I would say. I like the way the Beauty Blender looks. Definitely. And I like that it doesn't look like it's settling in my pores or making any areas of my skin, you know, any texture of my skin look more noticeable. Sometimes when you go with a matte foundation or a heavy foundation, any texture in the skin, so like any fine lines or wrinkles or pores, it tends to just magnify that. It's always tricky because I think people have this idea that full coverage foundations cover everything, and what I try to explain to people as a makeup artist is that, you know, makeup will cover discoloration in the skin, but it's not going to cover texture in the skin. So if an area is not smooth on the skin, you know, regular foundation or regular makeup is not going to make that area look smooth. Sure, you can use primers and you can use products to kind of help with that, but if it's a severe, you know, raised texture, like a really bad acne scar or really deep set wrinkles, you know, foundation is not going to make that disappear. Okay, so I like this, actually. I really like this. Wow. I am going to apply a little bit more on my nose. I tend to have more spots on my nose, which makes sense because I run outside a lot, so that's where I tend to get, you know, sun damage, is right here on my nose. My husband muted the TV. It always makes me nervous. Okay. All right, so you can see both sides. Wow, that's pretty good difference, right? Okay, so this is with the Beauty Blender, just one kind of sheer layer. I didn't use a lot. I did end up using all that was on my hand, but it wasn't a ton. And you can see the difference in my skin. So this has nothing on it at all, and then this has the foundation. I did already put concealer on as well, but I just kept the concealer underneath my eyes, and then I have brows and a little mascara, but I don't have anything else on. So you can see that this really evened out my skin tone and really covered those blemishes. I like. Okay, so let's try it on the other side with the brush. The brush that I'm going to use today is the Bobbi Brown. I think it's called the Full Coverage Foundation Brush. It's this guy. It's like a little dome. I really like this. I picked this up a long time ago, and then I picked up the Sigma brush, and I fell in love with that brush, and then I recently picked this back up, and I've been using it, and I really like it. I like that the edges are more rounded than the Sigma F80 brush, because I feel like, I like the Sigma F80 brush, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it, but I like this a lot because I feel like it just blends the contours of your face and the curves of your face really well with this dome shape to it. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in the center of my face, and I like to just kind of stipple it on just to get more coverage there. Once I get the amount of coverage that I want, then I'll go back and kind of blend it. But I always start with this motion first to get that coverage. This is kind of similar to a Beauty Blender, honestly, because the shape of it and the hairs, they're so densely packed, and there's so many of them that it's almost like the effect of a sponge. For me, I like to use the Beauty Blender more with like full coverage heavy foundations, because I feel like that the Beauty Blender kind of shears it out a little bit more, makes it look a little bit more natural than a brush does. And I typically use this for foundations or a foundation brush that aren't as thick or as heavy. The foundation I've been going to a lot these days is the YSL Fusion Ink Foundation. That's what I like on a daily basis lately. I like it because it is very lightweight. If you haven't tried that foundation is like any other foundation I've ever tried before, but it gives more coverage than like a BB cream. So even though it's very lightweight like a BB cream, it covers more and it gives more of like a made up finish. And so I've been using this brush for that foundation, kind of on my everyday. This foundation, though, definitely covers more than that does. I really, really like this. This is really pretty. I would say the finish is pretty velvety. It is matte, but it doesn't look... it's just more of a velvety matte finish versus like a powder finish. If you were really dry, though, if you had dry skin, then you would probably have more of a matte powder finish to this. This is really nice, though. I really like this. Okay, and I'm just going to put a teeny tiny bit more on my nose, and then that's going to do it. So I'm looking at both sides, and honestly, I don't really know which, I mean, I think they both look the same. I don't think I prefer one application over the other. I did use less product with the brush, though. That is one observation. I did use more product when I applied the Beauty Blender, and I essentially got the same coverage. So maybe that's the pro of using the brush, is that you don't have to use as much product. But honestly, they both look very, very similar. I cannot tell a difference between the two applications. Okay, I really like this foundation. So I think I'm going to be using this more on a day-to-day basis because it is drugstore, so that's a bonus. But it gives great coverage, and it's supposed to be long wearing, so I don't have to worry about touching up throughout the day. And it's got a matte finish, matte finish, yeah. Yeah, so very good. I like this foundation. I'm going to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I wish that I could leave this on. It's actually about 9 o'clock at night, so I'm not going to be wearing this throughout the day. But I will do a follow-up to this video and let you guys know how it wears throughout the day when I have a chance to actually wear it throughout the day. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys. I'm going to go ahead and touch up with a little bronzer and do my makeup, and then I'm going to film another video. But anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any techniques or tricks that you like to apply this foundation with, then let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I think that's it. Thanks, guys. Bye.